And welcome back. I'm right back at it. Yes, sir, I'm right back at it. Most definitely. I said we got to get into this, so we're going to get into it. How about those Cavs? Now, I said at the beginning, for everybody who was down on the trade and whatnot, and, Darius Garland, all of the people who just, they hearts for Darius Garland, February. So I understand. Oh, you got the hearts for Darius. Go. Oh, we love Darius so much. Oh, Darius. Oh, James Harden. He's old and he quits. And James Harden. I don't know. I already told you what James Harden brought to the table, and that everything he was bringing to the table was better than Darius Garland. That the only thing that Darius Garland provided that was better than James Harden was youth. That's about it. These couple games that we didn't had. Ironically, here we go. Let's just start with this. Jared Allen looks the best that he has ever looked in the NBA. Now I know it's only three games now. I think it's 3 games now. But it's the best he's ever looked. I mean, he putting up wild numbers. And it just seems so effortless. And he don't even really have no chemistry with James Harden. They just got together. And you mean to tell me that the pick and roll is working this good already? It's got Jared Allen looking like this? It's working out fantastically. This is amazing. If James Harden keep doing this, I might start lobbying to sign him, to give him the money. Just go ahead and give him the money he was asking for, because this is $4 million less than what you would have paid Darius Garland. So you know what? Give him the money. What is it? Maybe you want 3 years? Cool. And then I'd be cool if he just played 2 years, and then the 3rd year he want to quit on us and leave. Cool. I don't care. Cool. Because the way that I feel, if you got this for the next 2 years, you're giving yourself a chance to win an NBA championship, especially if we get to talking about conspiracy theories and all that crap about LeBron, coming back, next year. And of all the times in the past, there was a lot of times in the past where I was like, yeah, I don't want him coming back. Keep him over there. Stay where you at. Don't come over here and mess the team up. Respectfully, what I've been seeing from LeBron, with the way LeBron had to accept that backseat role over there with Luka, now I think it's okay. Brian, you could go ahead and come back, because I don't think you're going to come back here and try to be number one, try to be the man. That's why I want you coming back here. Because I'm like, I don't want you coming back here thinking you the man. Nah, bro. Don't do that. Because Donovan is the man right now. Okay? Donovan is the man. Okay? So I don't understand. I ain't want to come here doing the same thing that he did with Kyrie. I didn't want that. You want to come here and take the ball out of Donovan's hand? No, man. Let Donovan be Donovan. So now I think he can come here and let Donovan be Donovan, because he used to let somebody else take the lead. So now you can come here and let Donovan be Donovan, let James Harden be James Harden, and then you could be the third wheel. And I think you would be fantastic at that. And I would pencil you in making it to the championship, because you ain't in the Western Conference, so you ain't got to see all these juggernaut teams. You got 2 teams that you got to deal with over here. It's probably going to be the Detroit Pistons. I'm thinking just over the course of the next 2 years. Probably going to be the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. But them other teams, I wouldn't be in the Eastern Conference. I ain't worried about them. Milwaukee ain't making no noise. Giannis, we don't even know if Giannis is going to be there. In 2 more years, what I'm saying, over the course of the next 2 years. Giannis might end up getting up out of there. So it looks amazing to me. Like this Cavaliers thing that we got going, that we got cooking with the James Harden thing. I couldn't be more ecstatic about the trade, and then the way that he has looked, since coming here. Now, what I will say is this. I do want to say this. It is typical James Harden, because every time James Harden got somewhere new, when he immediately gets there, he balls out. He ball like crazy. And then stuff happens afterwards. So it is right on par with what happens with Harden. So it could take a left turn down the road, but as far as for right now, I'm 100% locked in. Okay. And like I talked about in the last video, the foul baiting, he been foul baiting people. He been foul baiting, getting to that line. I support it. I support every bit of it. Keep foul baiting. Keep grabbing their arms and then flailing and acting like they fouled you. Please keep doing it. Because every time it happened, I'm gonna be like, oh no, yep, see, that's a foul. No, that's a foul right there. What are we talking about? That's a foul. He fouled him. He fouled him. I saw it. Don't put your arm in there like that and he can't grab it. But let's get to it, man. Let's get to why we here. Kenny Atkinson. I should call him Kenny Stefanski. That's what I should call him. Kenny Stefanski. That's what I should call him. Kenny Stefanski. I made mention of the lineups and why I hate the lineups. I don't like them. I hate the lineups that he puts out there. And this is what's so crazy. In these couple games that I've been watching and whatnot, it was, we played the Denver Nuggets. It was a Denver Nuggets game, and then the Washington Wizards game. The Washington Wizards game was yesterday. So in these two games, because this was after, I made the video, with the first, after the first game that they played. So they had 2 games since then. Played the Denver Nuggets, played the Washington Wizards. Okay, you ended up winning both of those games. Okay, you ended up winning. All right. I think people are overlooking what was going to end up being an issue later on with Kenny and his lineups. I think they're overlooking that just because they won the games. But I'm looking at how you won those games. Outside of the Washington Wizards game, the other 2 games, you won those games on heroic efforts by Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. That's how you won those games. Heroic efforts by Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. If this was the playoffs we was talking about, cool. But in the regular season, I don't think our stars should be expending that much energy to have to win a regular season basketball game. And a part of the reason I think that they were having to expend so much energy to win a regular season basketball game is because Kenny Stefanski likes to put the team in disadvantageous positions by trotting out ridiculous lineups that don't make sense. Even when you try to make sense of them, they don't make sense. So again, he started the same lineup that he started the last time, which I had a problem with, which was Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Sam Merrill, Jalen Tyson, and then Jared Allen at your 5. I still have the same problem with it. Why is Sam Merrill in the starting lineup? Why? I asked this to my guy earlier today. He said he, going to try to catch up a little bit more and start watching a little bit more so he could see precisely what I'm saying. But, when I asked him, he like, well, shooting, 3-point shooting. Cool. That would be cool if you didn't have a plethora of 3-point shooting already in the lineup. This is how it don't make sense. Because I'm with you. In theory, you put more 3-point shooting on the court. In theory. Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's do it logically. Now let's think logically. James Harden, one of the better 3-point shooters in NBA history. He don't have a problem shooting threes. In fact, he made the step back 3 popular. He's the one who made the step back 3 popular. Steph Curry made everybody want to shoot threes. James Harden made everybody want to shoot step back threes. Okay? So this is the one of the most notable 3-point shooting people ever in the history of the NBA is James Harden. Donovan Mitchell leads the league in made 3-pointers this year. And then Jalen Tyson is shooting 48% from 3. And it's not like he only shoots 2 a game. Like, he get them up. He puts them up. So with these 3-point specialists, they're not specialists, but dynamic 3-point shooters, what do I need to put another one out there for? It's only one basketball. So why do I need to have, I already got the guy who has made the most 3-pointers in the league this year in Donovan Mitchell. I got the guy who made everybody emulate the step back 3 because he's just so good at it in James Harden. And then I got one of the top 3-point shooters statistically in the league in Jalen Tyson, shooting 48% from 3. So he's shooting a better percentage from three than Sam Merrill is. I got 3-point shooting out here, and a lot of it. So this extra position that I have, even if we saying position less, because with where he's at, with where you got him, even with it being position less basketball or whatever, he slotted at the 3. Like that's where he at. He slotted at the 3. He can't play no defense. Even if he was slotted at the 2. He can't play no defense on none of the people. And he not getting no rebounds. So what is he out there for? So I say that to say this. You put yourself behind the 8 ball in certain situations where you don't have to be. Because, your offense will get you so your offense might get you, a 4-point lead because you just clicking on offense. But then when you miss a couple shots here or there and the offense ain't just 100% clicking and all the shots going in, when you start to miss a couple shots here or there, it backfires on you because you can't get the rebound. And then after you can't get the rebound, when the team come down the other end, you can't defend them. So then now you go from being up 4 to being down 6. And then now Kenny got to call a timeout. Whereas in my opinion, if you just had to switch your lineup a little bit and put a defender out there, put a guy that's a better defender and or rebounder out there, then you could help sustain either A, when you have a lead, or B, not get put behind the 8 ball to where you got to call a timeout and then reconstruct stuff and then deploy another lineup out there. Let's just go through some of these lineups that was in the Denver Nuggets game. That, ones that I didn't like, and then one that I actually was kind of okay with, if you will. Because I've already said that me personally, I would start Naquan Tomlin in that position over Sam Merrill because he provides, defense and rebounding. That's why I would put him in that position over Sam Merrill. But let's just go through some of the lineups. You already know the starting lineup that I don't agree with. Some of the other lineups. Craig Porter Jr., Sam Merrill, Dennis Schroeder, James Harden, and Jared Allen. Why do you have Craig Porter? First of all, you got 2 point guards on the floor at the same time, and Craig Porter Jr. and Dennis Schroeder. I used to talk about, I talked about in the last episode how I felt like he did Lonzo Ball dirty, by doing that. Always wanting to have Lonzo Ball out there with Darius Garland. Like that don't make no sense. Or you have Lonzo Ball out there with Craig Porter Jr. That's 2 point guards on the court at the same time. That's counterproductive. Because now one of the point guards is finna be relegated to the off guard, which means he got to be like a scoring guard now. And that ain't really what Craig Porter Jr. ain't no scoring guard. Dennis Schroeder, like I say all the time, he a scorer, but it's in volume. He's a volume scorer. That's what he is. He not the type to, to go 3 for 4 from the field consistently every night. He's got to be able to get some shots up, get his lather, get his rhythm. Like he's more of a scorer with the ball in his hands than he is a scorer without the ball in his hands. Okay? So, again, first of all, you got two point guards on the court at the same time. But then when you throw Sam Merrill in there, now you got 3 little guards all on the court at the same time. 3 little guards. Who is they defend? And then you forcing James Harden to play the 4? Who James Harden about to guard at the 4 position? Who he about to guard? Who can he guard at the 4? Who? Nobody. Stop. What are we doing? And then respectfully, because I made note of it, when he had this lineup out there, just like I say, he ended up having to call a timeout because this lineup couldn't guard nobody and they wasn't getting no rebounds because you don't have no rebounders. The only rebounder you got out there is Jared Allen. And in my opinion, you wear Jared Allen out because when you deploy all these guards and then just leave Jared Allen out there, now he's literally the only rim protector, the only rebounder, the only big defender. He's the only person that can defend bigs. And then when you come to the offensive end, he's very active because he always got to be in the pick and roll with James Harden. So it's like he barely even get, he at full go the whole time he out there on offense and on defense. Like he ain't getting no type of relax or breather or nothing. He can't even, the saying in basketball, a lot of times, they say you rest on offense. You don't rest on defense, you rest on offense. He can't do that because he's constantly in the pick and roll with James Harden, and rightfully so, because at this point it's been unstoppable. So it's hard to not run that. So now he constantly in the pick and roll on offense. Then he got to hurry up and get back down the court on defense because he's the only one that can play some defense on anybody. He the only one. So that there is a terrible lineup. Another lineup that he runs out there: Dennis Schroeder, Sam Merrill, James Harden, Jalen Tyson, and Jared Allen. Again, in my opinion, you got Dennis Schroeder and Sam Merrill out there at the same time. Why? Because Sam Merrill is a shooter. Dennis Schroeder is not the facilitating type. He got to have the ball in his hands. So it ain't like I can see if it was a situation where you got, it was Harden, and then the other guys are the shooters or whatever. I could kind of almost see that. But Schroeder ain't no catch and shoot guy. I think Schroeder's shooting 32% from three this year. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's a guy that you be like, go ahead and shoot that. If you make it, cool. But I'm gonna let you shoot it. Go ahead. Let me see if you can make it first. I'm not so sure you're gonna make it. Let me see. So again, I'm not so sure. What's the point in having Dennis Schroeder and Sam Merrill out there on the court together at the same time? Like that don't, to me, that ain't doing it. And then you're relegating Harden and Tyson. You're relegating Harden to try to defend, like I say, more so threes and fours, and then Tyson got to defend basically the four position. Tyson is great at defending wings. I think he's at a disadvantage trying to defend fours, trying to defend somebody at the four spot. I think that's putting him at a disadvantage. Not only that, this is yet another lineup. When it was deployed, he had to call a timeout. Kenny had to call a timeout. Another lineup that I didn't like: Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, Naquan Tomlin, Donovan Mitchell, and Thomas Bryant. Now, I was a tad bit more tolerable, just a tad bit more tolerable of this lineup, just strictly due to the fact that I felt like you actually finally had, some defense out there as far as the front court is concerned. Because you had Thomas Bryant, who I like him. I like him more for his toughness and, and defensive prowess, and he'd get in people's face. Like, I like him for that a lot more than anything. He also can knock down a spot up three. Like, you don't just want to just leave him out there too much, just spot it up like that. You don't want to leave him wide open because he will make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he will make it. So you don't want to just leave him standing out there. But again, for me, my thing with it was, you could have deployed one of these guys in one of those other two lineups that I just mentioned. Like, you could have put a Naquan Tomlin in the lineup, in your starting lineup, or in the lineup where you had Craig Porter Jr., or in the lineup where you had, Dennis Schroeder and Sam Merrill out there together. You could have deployed a Naquan Tomlin in that lineup, and it could have been Dennis Schroeder, James Harden, Jalen Tyson, Naquan Tomlin, and Jared Allen. Love that lineup. Love that right there. But instead, we got Naquan Tomlin out there with Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, Thomas Bryant, and Donovan Mitchell. Again, this was a lineup where Kenny had to call timeout. Okay? Let's go with one of these other random lineups that I don't like. Craig Porter Jr., Donovan Mitchell, Dennis Schroeder, Naquan Tomlin, and Thomas Bryant. Why do you have Craig Porter Jr. and Dennis Schroeder on the court together at the same time? You love to do this. You did it with Sam. You did it and put Sam Merrill out there with him, and then now you're doing it and putting Donovan Mitchell out there with him. Those are 2 point guards. they should not be on the court together at the same time. It's counterproductive, both on offense and defense. Because on offense, one of the guys is going to be null and void because he's a point guard. And now he's relegated to off guard. What is he about to do? You putting him in a bad spot. You put him in a bad position. And then when you get back on defense, by default, he can't guard the other person that he's trying to guard. Because for the other team, they're not putting 2 point guards out there. They only got one. So now one of our point guards is forced to defend outside of his position. So again, I don't understand why you got Craig Porter Jr. and Dennis Schroeder on the court at the same time. Hey, man, scale back Craig Porter Jr. minutes, bro. Scale his minutes back. Because again, when you got these guys out there like this is when, instead of us going up by 15, 20, or if we are already up by 15, going up by 30 and just putting the game away completely. When we deploy these dumb lineups out there, it allows the other team to get back in the game now. Now we was up 20, but then you put this dumb lineup out there, and then now we go from being up 20 to now we only up 8. And then now Donovan Mitchell and James Harden got to start doing this spectacular stuff all over again. One lineup that I was just kinda okay with. James Harden, Sam Merrill, Keon Ellis, Jalen Tyson, and Jared Allen. And again, kind of the only reason that I was just kinda okay with this lineup is because I felt like you had more defense deployed out there in Jared Allen, Jalen Tyson, and Keon Ellis. Now, Keon Ellis is still only 6'4". You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, he's a better defender than Sam Merrill, Craig Porter Jr., and Dennis Schroeder. He's a better defender than all of those guys, in my opinion. So, like, I would even though Naquan Tomlin is my initial pick, I would even be okay with, instead of starting Sam Merrill in that 3 spot, I would be okay with even putting Keon Ellis there. Just because he's naturally a better, like, defender. You know what I'm saying? Not the best at rebounding, 6'4", but he's a better defender, in my opinion. So that's my thing. It's like, I like when you have, the defense out there. It's not like we just deploy in this all offensive lineup. You know what I'm saying? And then the only defensive guy is Jared Allen. I hate every one of those lineups that he likes to put out there. And then, last but not least, in that Denver Nuggets game, and this is what I'm saying, like, you had a chance where if you deployed the right lineups, you could have put the game away earlier. But instead, the game kept being close, ties turn here or there. And then what ended up happening was this. There were a couple key things, that ended up happening. One was, Harden hitting one of them threes, one of them step back threes. And he was trying to foul bait too. He kicked his legs out, but the dude, they didn't call the foul, but Harden still made the 3 like we've seen him do in so many other scenarios. So you get this spectacular 3-pointer from James Harden. Tim Hardaway Jr. missed a wide open 3. I mean, he was wide open. He was wide open because, again, we like to deploy lineups where we don't have defenders out there. So Tim Hardaway Jr. was wide open. He just missed. That's all. He was wide open. He just missed. If he makes that 3, we're looking at a completely different closing part of that basketball game where the Denver Nuggets they're probably going to win. But Tim Hardaway Jr. missed. He was wide open, and he missed. So that was kind of what you got. And then on the very last possession of the game, because they still had an opportunity for one shot. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that one shot would have even won the game, because I can't remember if we was up by 2 or if we was up by 3, because Donovan Mitchell ended up making 2 free throws. I can't remember if that put us up by 2 or if it put us up by 3. I think it only put us up by 2. But here's another, and just the nail in the coffin for Kenny Stefanski, as to what I'm saying about his lineups and how he's just like, I don't understand what's going on up here. The very last possession of this Denver Nuggets game. It's a defensive possession. So we not about to get the ball on offense. Even once this possession is done, we not getting the ball. It's the last possession of the game. And we're playing defense. There is no offense that's about to occur here. We're only playing defense. This is the last possession of the game. This fool still got Sam Merrill on the court. It's the last possession of the game. There ain't no offense. So for all of the times where you could possibly use offense and three-point shooting as a reason to have Sam Merrill on the floor, this last possession, there wasn't any off. It's a defensive possession. Why do you have Sam Merrill out there? Who we about to guard? Who he playing defense on? Put Naquan Tomlin out there to play defense. For the last possession of the game, you should have all of your best defenders on the court. It's the last possession of the game, and we're playing defense. You should have all of your best defenders on the court. The same way that if your last possession was on offense, well, the lineup that you finna send out there is all of your best offensive players. You're not about to put defensive people out there for the last possession and you on offense. You're not about to do that. You're not about to do that. If it's the last possession and you on offense, I would even argue you almost might even take Jared Allen out of there. But I'm just saying, for any team, whoever's considered not an offensive threat, which I don't know, with James Harden being here now, it's hard to consider Jared Allen he's been an offensive threat ever since James Harden's been here. But I'm just saying, whoever you would consider that's not an offensive threat, you take them off of the court and you put an offensive threat onto the court. Because this is an offensive possession. And it's the last possession of the game. So I want to do everything that I can to give myself the best chance to be able to make this bucket. That means put more people out there to get buckets. So if the last possession, your job is to stop somebody from getting a bucket, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lineup out there with the most people that can stop people from getting buckets. Sam Merrill ain't one of them. So you so gung-ho on having Sam Merrill in the game, you even putting him out there on a defensive, it's just one possession and it's defense, and you putting him out there. That doesn't make any sense by any stretch of basketball. No stretch of basketball do that ever make any sense ever. That is something that should never happen. Ever. Like, I'm serious. This is Kevin Stefanski level of incompetence, of doing stuff that should never be done. A guy who's strictly a three-point shooter. That's all Sam Merrill is. He can't handle the ball. He can't dribble. He's not a rebounder. He's not a defender. The only thing he do is shoot threes. That's it. It's the only thing he do. He don't even got no mid-range game. Only thing he do is shoot threes. Now, he's great at that, but that's the only thing he does. Why you got him on the court for the last possession and it's a defensive possession? What, you got a three-point shooter out there, a three-point specialist out there, and you need to stop on defense? That is the epitome of not knowing what you should be doing in a high leverage, high pressure situation to close out a game. And respectfully, again, that's why I say, if I see him doing this crap in the playoffs, I might lose it. My gray hair, I might have more gray hairs everywhere by that time. Because I'm hearing people, it ain't the playoffs, he's still trying to experiment. Woo, woo. I'm like, I get it. But the season almost over with. So that experimenting stuff, that need to be over with too. You need to start solidifying lineups. That way, when the postseason get here, the lineups are already solidified. You're not trying to search to find the solidified lineup. Nope, I need the lineups to already be solidified going into the playoffs. So that way people get used to playing with each other. And they know what's going on. I'm in the lineup with this guy. I'm typically in the lineup with this guy. I know his moves, whatever. So, hey, man, it's looking, people ain't really on you like that right now, Kenny, because, you've managed to win. But once if the losses start happening here with these, you deploying all these little guards out there, you're going to get exposed. And especially come playoff time, if you try to keep giving Craig Porter Jr. all these minutes, you keep trying to put Craig Porter Jr. out there, you're going to get exposed. Like, you're going to get exposed, bro. I'm sorry. So, I mean, we're going to see what happens after after the All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of mad I got to watch this BS All-Star game. I wish it was actual competitive games going on. I think I'm just going to watch the Olympics. I don't know. I might have it on one of my 3 TV, one of my 4 TVs. I might put it on the fourth TV, the little one. I might just have it on there and glance every now and again at this garbage All-Star game is going to take place. But I'm looking forward to the games. After the All-Star break. I'm also looking forward to Evan Mobley coming back. Like I say, we'll see what the lineups look like when Evan Mobley comes back. But the way Kenny been rocking, still don't think that he's gonna do too much. Like, I still think he's gonna have a thing where he deploys a whole bunch of little guards and has Craig Porter Jr. and Dennis Schroeder on the court a lot together at the same time, and that's counterproductive. So we'll see how it goes, moving forward. But again, in my opinion, man, Kenny, you on the clock, bro. Kenny Stefanski, you on the clock, bro. And we need an Eastern Conference Finals appearance out of this roster that you got. If not, gotta go, buddy. Dogs on the couch, signing off, man.